everybody, welcome to Rocky Top Wrestling Review. I am Bobby Mack, and this is our Payback review. Right from the gate, let's talk about RTruth and Stardust. A quick match, a lot of decent spots in it. I was kind of surprised to see these two on the pre-show. I don't know if the match was announced. I don't know if there's any history between these two feuding. I don't know anything about it. It just felt like it was thrown together. Maybe it's a SmackDown thing, or maybe I just missed it on Raw. But it is what it is. It was a good, quick match. Nothing too spectacular. RTruth with another win. I guess they're letting him go out on top, letting him get a lot of wins, as this is rumored to be his final year of competition. So, good match there. The next match was a very quick match for the pre-show. It was less than like 3 minutes long. It was the Ascension. A lot of people have called them the Road Warrior wannabes against the other wannabes, the Mega Power wannabes, Axelmania and Macho Mandow. I've been calling these guys the mediocre powers, something like that. But anyway, Axelmania and Macho Mandow. You know, the match is what it is. It was less than 3 minutes. The Ascension finally gets a win. What do I think about the Axelmania Macho Mandow thing? Let me just get into that real quick, because I did tweet a lot about it last night. I just don't feel that it's in good. I don't know if it's in good taste or what. It's I don't mind so much that they're imitating Macho Man, or they're even imitating Hogan. Obviously lots of guys have done that. Black Machismo over in TNA did it for a long time. You've had who is it? I think Sandal's come out as Hogan before, but you also had Shawn Michaels imitate Hogan at one point. Big Show did it. I think Axel. I don't know. I think it's weird that they're using his music, even though, since Hogan's still part of the company now. Like, he's in the company as they're doing this. I just think that's a little weird. I don't like JBL's commentary about Macho Man rolling around in his grave. I think it's I don't know if it's disrespectful. I'd have to look that up, but I don't know. I don't like that feel of it. And I definitely don't like the fact they take the actual name, the Mega Powers, and are calling them the Mega Powers from back in the day. I was watching this match with my daughter, and funny enough, she's 15. She's been watching wrestling for years now with me, and her one comment was, could they make pro wrestling look any more fake? And that's pretty amazing to come from a 15-year-old. Can they make pro wrestling look any more fake? I understand it's entertainment. I do like some comedy spots, but I think, Stone Cold Steve Austin talks about it a lot on his podcast. The one with Shane Douglas was really interesting. I want that believability of, these matches, actually mean something. These guys actually don't like each other, or, that there's some kind of setup to, some kind of reality. You don't see, Tom Cruise. You don't see Tom Cruise going in to a movie and playing, a character from another movie, or, you don't see him playing himself. So I just feel like if WWE is producing these matches, they're producing these shows, that it really, there needs to be some kind of suspension of disbelief for me as a fan. But anyway, that was actually the lowest part of the entire show, I feel. The rest of the show was fantastic. Sheamus and Dolph Ziggler had a great match, back and forth, started the pay-per-view, the official show off. I don't know if you call it pay-per-view anymore or not. But that was a hot first match. And it was interesting as the night went on, to me, to listen to the crowd, because even though I call this the first match of the night, it's really the third match. And, back in the day, you might have one dark match before the cameras come on for a pay-per-view. And then, that was just two jobbers as people were, getting their seats. It pretty much is telling everybody, hey, you're in the building, it's time to come in and sit down. That's what those pre-match dark matches are for. The first match of every show is to really light up the crowd, make it exciting. And I think it's kind of funny or odd now that they have the, pre-show matches, which are actually, pretty, the Ascension match was pretty short, but, the RTruth and Stardust match was actually longer, or as long as two of the other matches on the card. I find it odd, that, you have a match like RTruth and Stardust started 30-some minutes before the show, or ended 30-some minutes before the show even started. And then you had the Ascension match, which happened right away. So you go into this match, Sheamus and Dolph Ziggler, the third match, which usually is kind of in wrestling jargon, usually a third match is kind of a match that's got a little bit of excitement, but not too much. The second match of the night is usually the one that takes it all down. So it's kind of interesting how the dynamic of professional wrestling is changing on pay-per-views, as now the first match of the pay-per-view, the first match of the main show, is now the second or third match that the fans are actually seeing. And who knows if there's actually any dark matches that go on before that as well. So Sheamus and Dolph Ziggler, I thought it was a fun match. It was a good match. Dolph, man, he got cut the hard way on that headbutt. Blood just started spewing. It made me question if Dolph might have pre-cut himself, might have bladed in the back, and maybe took some aspirin to get that much color coming from his head, because that was a lot of color, brother. That was a lot of color from a headbutt. So I'm interested. I'm sure if he did do something like that, WWE would investigate it, as they've got the strict anti-blood policy. But man, he was bleeding like a stuffed pig. Crimson Mask, whatever you want to call it, whatever Gordon Soley name you want to say to steal that homage. But yeah, Dolph was cut pretty bad, and I question again how much of that was set up on Dolph Ziggler's part. Did he take aspirin to thin his blood? Did he drink a bunch of water? Did he pre-cut his head where it would do that? But I guess if it's important enough, I guess WWE would investigate it and tell us. Yeah. Anyway, next match tonight was our tag team match. Phenomenal. The New Day, Big E and Kofi against Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. These guys just are going on each, now this is 2 pay-per-views that they're stealing the show. The first one they weren't even supposed to be on. They were supposed to be on the pre-show and got bumped in because of Daniel Bryan's injury last month to actually be on this show. And they are just tearing the house down. New Day is phenomenal as heels, much better heels than they were faces, because it's a natural fit. This is what the fans wanted. And Tyson Kidd and Cesaro are doing a great job as faces here, as the good guys. Everything in this match really clicked well. The referee, I guess, assuming that all black guys look alike, and I heard that from Zach earlier today as well. But it's kind of funny because last week Michael Cole called Kofi Xavier and called Xavier Kofi, and then this week we have on the pay-per-view the referee not knowing the difference between the two either. So it would be really funny. I could see a fun spot where Xavier or Kofi tries to do that with Big E, and then the referee stops and is like, wait a second, I do know the difference between these two black guys. But good match, good back and forth. Definitely the right decision with New Day staying as the champions. Keep getting the heat, brother, on New Day, and let them keep being the heels that they are. Interested to see how the Elimination Chamber comes out. How 6 teams are going to operate in the Elimination Chamber. How many of them are going to be in the ring at the same time? Because that's going to be a lot of bodies in that Elimination Chamber. So it's already a dangerous structure with all the steel and all the chains and everything. But it's going to be interesting. Next match, Bray Wyatt and Ryback. I have no interest in Ryback. You can say feed me more all you want. I don't know. I kind of gave up on the guy. I don't like his mic skills. I don't like that he tells the same story every single time. It reminds me of the very end of Arn Anderson's career, and I wonder if Arn's his agent in the back, because Arn was great at promos, but the very end of his WCW career, he kept saying, "We don't wear white hats, and be careful what you wish for." And he kept saying it over and over and over, or the toot toot line about I'll toot my own horn, toot toot. It just seems like Ryback keeps doing that with these interviews. I honestly wasn't even paying that much attention to this match. Bray, of course, wins the match over Ryback, which is the right decision. Bray Wyatt should not lose until WrestleMania. Bray Wyatt deserves a higher spot on this card. I'd like to see him maybe even with the IC strap. I think that'd be interesting to see what Bray does with that. But good match. Next match on the card was John Cena and Rusev in the I Quit match. I gotta say, I didn't like the Russian chain match between these two, and it's not. I'm not a Cena hater. It's nothing to do with that. I think Cena's one of the best in the company. I just don't think that these stipulation matches in today's PG era are working. The Russian chain match, traditionally a very violent match. It doesn't always have to be blood with this match. I would say go back to Magnum TA and Nikita Koloff. They had amazing Russian chain matches back in the day. Lots of blood, lots of damage, lots of beating each other up. Move fast forward just a little bit, and you can look this up on YouTube. There's a match between Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express and Ivan Koloff in a Russian chain match that I believe is one of the Clash of the Champions on TBS. No blood. TBS had a pretty big rule about no blood as well. So go watch that match. There's no blood, but there's a lot of psychology in it. And with Cena and Rusev in this last month's match, the chain match, it seemed like they were just playing tug of war, and it was boring. This is an I Quit match. I have never heard a referee talk so much as what this referee did. Like, it was ridiculous. I made a joke on Twitter that I think the referee had more mic time than Stone Cold Steve Austin had in all of WCW when he was there. It kind of took away from the match a little bit for me because the guys are getting beat up and the referee, they're not getting beat up anymore. The other guy has already backed off and the referee's asking if, do you quit? Do you quit? If the guy's laying there resting, why would he quit? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why? What's the psychology in that? Why would the referee ask Cena or Rusev that if they quit when they're just laying there? And when Cena, who hates Rusev in this feud, that this feud's gone on since WrestleMania and before. If this feud is so big, if they have so much hate for each other, so much disdain, then why is it when John Cena put Rusev over that wall and all those sparks came up, why'd Cena just sit back and just stand there? It seems like Cena would have gone over and attack, and that would have put it over the edge where Rusev would have had to give it up. But instead, Cena sat back, and it's like Cena didn't understand the psychology, which was odd to me. It was odd that Cena had that issue. But it was kind of predictable that Lana was going to have to be the one to give up for him. I think that it's the right call. It's interesting to see what Rusev and Lana, what their characters do. Do they stay together? Do they split up? I really think they both need each other. I honestly think that if Lana leaves Rusev, she's going to be lost in the shuffle somewhere, unless she forgets the Russian accent and she takes up her former Florida State days as a cheerleader and embraces that character. Rusev, though, I think he needs Lana. I think that Lana's a great asset for him as a character, and I think that the two should stay together, so I'm interested to see what happens there. Then the next match was our Divas match, so Naomi and Tamina, which give Divas a chance. It's the shortest match of the night, and I will say it's the shortest, even shorter than RTruth and Stardust, which was the first match of the pre-show. This tag team match was the, no story behind it. Tamina and Naomi, yes, they're relatives. They're going to fight the Bellas, who are relatives. Brie Bella gave one of the worst acting interviews in the back, talking about her husband. She couldn't even draw up any kind of acting ability or tears in the back when asked about what Daniel's status was and all that kind of stuff. It was a Divas match. I'm not going to give Divas a chance. I'm not a big fan of Divas wrestling. I was a big fan of women's wrestling when Trish was there, when Lita was there. I've seen some good ladies wrestling matches. I've seen them done in entertaining ways. I again challenge people, go to YouTube, which you're on right now anyway, and look up Glow, the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, and find some of their stuff. Their wrestling matches were not great, but their shows and their character development was so good, the story was so good, that you'd watch it because it was entertaining. These matches aren't that entertaining to me, and it is what it is. I'm not going to apologize for it. I don't think the Divas need a chance. The next match was Neville and King Barrett. 100% did not watch this match. I don't know what I was doing. I was not paying attention to the match. Neville beat King Barrett, so I'm not going to comment on it until I see it. But, great job, Neville. It's nice to see him get a win on a pay-per-view. I think he won by count-out, so it wasn't like Barrett lost any of his heat. Neville could gain a little bit of momentum from it. Of course, he can ask for another match against Barrett because the history now that they've created. And, Neville's on the rise, and I think Barrett is as well. The final match of the night was the four-way match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Randy Orton. This match was perfect. Absolutely perfect. It had the three members of the Shield in it, and it had Randy Orton in it. Randy did his job. Excellent. Definitely the seasoned veteran in this match, a seasoned veteran in four-way matches. The Shield, phenomenal. The guys worked well together as a tag team. They've worked well together in feuds against each other. Their hints of being reunited was awesome. The fans loved it. I loved it watching it. I thought it had a lot of great pops in it. A lot of great spots in this match, but the match also, more importantly, told a great wrestling match story in there. The characters are well developed at this point. It should be a no-brainer as these guys, these former Shield members, continue to climb the ladder. Last night, I think Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose did something that very few wrestlers, sports entertainers are doing nowadays. They listened to the audience. And when they had that spot with Kane and they slammed him and the table didn't break and the fans chanted one more time, they were working the match slow enough that they could listen to the audience, and they did it. I thought it was great. Great match. Great night of professional wrestling. The entire pay-per-view from top to bottom was phenomenal. Again, my only real critiques was the Mega Power name, the John Cena Rusev feud. I just don't think there's enough heat between the two. There's plenty of it on the microphone, but when they get in the ring, they forget about all that stuff. And I think they're too busy trying to go through their scripted match than to listen to the fans or react to what's going on in the match. And give Divas a chance. They don't need a chance. That's just my opinion on it. Great pay-per-view, Payback 2015. I definitely recommend watching it if you haven't seen it. Watch it again if you have seen it. This is Bobby Mack with Rocky Top Wrestling's review. I'll be back in just a few. Did that rhyme? Oh.